He wasn't pissed. He wasn't happy. He was just in 4 loud shrieks. Ah, 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 ah. Hey guys, welcome to the official YouTube page for Calm Down with Erin and Carissa. This is where you can watch all of our ridiculous conversations and fun interviews.
We have full shows. We've got pre-games, anything and everything that you guys could want. But first, you're going to have to subscribe. Just hit subscribe right there and you're good to go.
And now you can calm down with us.
Yep. Can you tell that we're reading this off a script? We hope so. All right. We need to calm down and wrap this bad boy up. Press subscribe. Thanks for listening.
Calm Down with Erin and Carissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Calm Down podcast. Erin and I aren't matching, but we're both wearing hooded sweatshirts. I have horses, and I need to talk about your sweatshirt because your sweet husband had this sweatshirt on the flight home from the Super Bowl, and we were all like, oh, I love that sweatshirt. And then Cutie McCute did what?
He went and got him, and I love it. It was a cute NFL collab with G4. Really great. Great material. I love it.
Love it.
Let's do a collab.
Ooh, please. And we'll be on a G4 or 5. Interested.
Ooh.
I am really bad about buying merch from like those kinds of events.
Yeah.
But then in retrospect, I'm always like, oh, I want something like that. It's like commemorative and nice. Although I do have my Rebecca Minkoff Wear by Erin Andrews leather jacket. That's great. That's good. You know what? That's a great collab. Okay. Welcome.
Also that shirt, that neon one that I ended up being a big hit. I love that shirt. And I love that shirt when you wore it that day to your rehearsal. That shirt ended up being real cute.
So how does that work if people wanted, after the fact? Like for me,
Already
like if
too
I'm,
late.
It's gone.
But we're going to do them next year for next year's Super Bowl. And I think we're going to do it for the All-Star game because that was a big hit. So giddy on up. But thanks for the support.
Cute.
Oh, I saw Jules this weekend.
Yes. Tell us everything. Okay, you guys, there was an amazing event happening. I'll let Erin speak to it because you partially hosted the event. I didn't realize you were doing so much with it, but you were spending your time for a great cause. Tell everyone about it.
So the Los Angeles Kings and the NHL, they really did a great event on Sunday, and they hosted kind of a celebrity game. They had 4 different teams hosted by like Snoop Dogg, Will Ferrell, Danny DeVito, Vince Vaughn,
Al Michaels.
And I didn't get to see him. There were so many people there I didn't get to see. I was working. No, kudos and thank you to Fox for giving me permission and a thumbs up. I was told I was doing the in-house kind of like interviews of some of the LA heroes, and then it went, to the different stations that were covering it. So thank you so much to our bosses for being so sweet. It was so much fun. And I was so proud of the organization and the league. And my husband worked really, really hard on the event. He's so great. And I have to tell you this, our friends in the NFL, I was kind of giving him a hard time about it. He reached out to Travis. He reached out to Tom. He reached out to Stray. I'm forgetting somebody else with the NFL he reached out to, and he got all these videos done from guys in the NFL. And I was like, oh, well, you got them done because they're my friends. And he was like, babe.
Okay.
And it was so sweet and so nice. And he did such a great job getting all this stuff done. And yeah, they had a lot of the first responders. They had a lot of people that lost their homes. They had a lot of people that, are trying to help people get back to life and get back to the real world with all of this. And they are still running this LA Strong event, and there is still time to donate. And I'm going to make our social media people put up the code. But it was really, really fun. And these guys came out and they were skating. I posted a picture with Mackie Babes with Justin Bieber, which was so cute. Mark Messier, who I wanted a picture with so bad. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then great people like Andrew Whitworth showed up. He coached a team. Edelman brought his daughter. We had a big family skate before, and it was just so cool and a really neat moment.
I wish I was there. I was out of town, but I just love that. And here's the thing about those kinds of events, to your point about Jarrett and the effort, like they don't just happen. That's a lot of time and effort for people to organize that. And also for crypto, like using, those venues and everything that like goes into that. But obviously for an incredible cause. And that's the thing too about these, devastating situations, whether it's a hurricane or whether it's the fires, like there's the immediate help, right? There's everyone's like, oh, I want to help. I want to help. But then it's like, as unfortunately, like life moves on for people, but it's like life doesn't move on for the person that's still living sometimes out of their car or at a relative's house or at a rental. Like if you're lucky enough to even get it, that's the time where it's like, you got to check in on the people that are going through it, because everyone helps right at the beginning. And then, you know, life moves on. And sadly, like for these individuals, but it's really cool. And you were interviewing some of the people that just stepped into, you know, in the world that we live in. And sometimes people are inherently selfish. When you see people like that, like the guy that organized all the meals and those kinds of things, it's just really special that people step up. So kudos, Jarrett Kings and everybody who was part of that.
Matthew Stafford was the other video. I'm so sorry, Matt, but he got all these guys and it was so neat. Guess who got the biggest applause though when his face came up? Can you guess?
Travis.
It was crazy. It was so wild. It was like, we're like, woo!
Oh, it's really special though.
Yeah, he's the best.
I love that. We are in our re-entry off-season phase. Erin just got back home. I'm coming back home in a couple days, avoiding reality. But we have a lot that we want to discuss. Erin has stepped into the world of Let Them. We will discuss that. Baby. We also, like many girlfriends do, there's always that funny meme where it's like we communicate via text, via DMs back and forth and have multiple conversations going with each other at the same time. Erin sent me a great DM that was from Kate Winslet that resonated with both of us. We'll talk about that. We got a re-entry update. I was saying how last week when we were talking how I need to be less bitchy about things and let stuff go. So I'll fill you guys in on that. And then also, just what's happening in our world of off season. I know it's not really an off season because this gal's already booked and busy. She's got a lunch date. So we're recording this podcast early so she can go. But all right. So that's what you were up to over the weekend. You also, before we jumped on here, you told me that you started reading the Mel Robbins phenomenon that is Let Them. Your thoughts? I know you're early on, but why did you want to pick up this book? And now there's dogs barking out there.
I didn't know much about Mel Robbins. She ended up being on my algorithm, which was refreshing. And I stopped and I listened and watched her clips from her podcast. And I started sending them to you. And I think Constance was sending them to me. And I just was like, okay, this is a time where I'm not reading the daily clips about whatever game I'm covering. Let's do something useful besides watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which I am deep into right now.
Okay, I need an update on that. I haven't seen anything since you told me to watch the one that went to got arrested and there's a lot happening. Okay, I don't know anything. I need a recap there.
It's a good, I don't do that during the season because I just feel guilty and I don't really have time. Yeah. So now I'm full blown in. This is like when I'm doing my skincare routine or I'm plucking or whatever. Yeah. I've got it on in the bathroom. It's making me happy or I'm purging or I'm trying to put stuff away. It's on. It's on, I'm happy. But then to balance out the trash, and I'm not calling those women trash, but let's be
just binge, reality it's reality television. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, I want to start reading this book. I'm interested. And I really love the vibe of Let Them. Now, I'm not there yet. I only got 10 pages in, and that was her introduction about the 5-second, method that she does, which I thought that was fascinating.
Because for those of you that haven't joined the phenomenon that is the Let Them train, it's this idea that she was getting, she was unmotivated and she was just lying in bed and she had this theory that a space shuttle, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just get yourself out of bed, just propel yourself. And so just something as simple as that was sort of, I think that was her first book, right? That was her first book. But then anyways, that idea of just, you got to start somewhere. And so that was something, but then the Let Them theory is predicated on something that her son, I think it talks about. Anyways, I'll let you guys read the book. You don't need me to explain it.
Because you're farther than I am. Tell me what you've gotten out of it so far and what's resonated with you. What do you love?
Yeah, I mean, even just that theory of the theory that you can't control the things you can't control. So the idea for her came about when her son was going to homecoming and he didn't have a reservation for a restaurant. And her daughter was like, who cares if he doesn't have a reservation? Like, let him deal with the fact that he's going to get to the restaurant and they're not going to be full, or the corsage, he didn't get a corsage or whatever. Is it called corsage? For his date, or that he didn't have the tux, or all these things. And like the mother wanted to control this. Like, we have to get a tux, you have to get a reservation. You haven't done that? Like, oh my God. And so the daughter's like, just let him fail at all of these things. But ultimately, like, he had a great time and it didn't matter that he didn't have the reservation. It didn't matter. So that theory applied to everyday life is if you don't get invited to, if you see a bunch of your girlfriends at a brunch and you didn't, because you on Instagram or whatever, and you didn't get invited, instead of being upset about it, you're like, well, just let them. Like, they wanted to go to brunch. You weren't invited. Like, don't obsess about the things that you can't control. Yeah. And so if somebody wants to be in a bad mood, like if Steve doesn't wake up in a bad mood, but I'm just saying, like, if, somebody is upset about something, like, let them, like, that's their problem. It's not yours to take on. So just that continuous idea is sort of what, and again, what page am I on? I'm pretty far. I'm only on page 41. I'm on that part of let them a tool to implement wisdom. But anyways, so my sister and my niece are both reading this book as well. And I like that it's become something that not everyone, but a lot of people are adapting and adopting, because it's clear that we all try to meddle in things that, or control aspects of our life. And so if this book has resonated with so many people, that means that everyone needs to just fucking chill out a little bit. There's a reason that in this book, they talk about people are getting tattoos, and what if my niece got a tattoo with this? But just, I don't know. I think hopefully if there's like this wave of people that are all operating with a new intention of just being more chill, then maybe it has maybe it has a resounding effect somewhere.
Maybe she's onto something. I love how she said, and again, I'm only 10 pages in, but she talked about how she was asked to speak at something and she had a 19-minute panic attack throughout it. And then she blanked out and she ended up talking about the 5-second method was something she wasn't even going to discuss. And little did she know that was the beginning of TED Talk, and she blew the fuck up. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And so what you think in your own mind might be like your worst moment could end up helping. But I think there's a lot of that too in vulnerability. You and I know, even when the therapy that I've been through in my life, it's all about, for me in particular, it's been about vulnerability. That the more vulnerable I've been, the more success I've had in relationships, the more success I've had in friendships, the more success that I've just had, even in work relationships, where I've said to my boss, like, I'm really sorry, or I got that wrong. That one's on me. Like in basketball, when someone commits a turnover and they run back down the court and they're like tap their chest, like, my bad. Yeah. Or, you see Baker Mayfield did it. I saw him do in the playoff game and he fumbled or something, and he was like sitting on the bench and he kept going to his teammates like, my bad. Like taking responsibility for your mistakes or your actions. I think that there's also so much to be said about that. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad that you're reading it too. So so we catch up and we can do it together.
A Calm Down book club.
Yeah, I would love that. And anybody else that wants to jump on board, if you haven't already, let's just do it together. I think it would be really fun, and then something we can discuss together. I've always wanted to be in a book club.
My friends had a dirty book club, but it started then going into football, and I was like, listen, these clips are as dirty as they can be. I can't.
I've never read a dirty novel, although I did just open up to chapter 13, which is very apropos, how to create the best friendships of your life. Cute.
That's anyway, dirty, but yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, it was like, that was a side note on this thing. But yeah, jump on board the Let Them Train. I've never read a dirty novel. Did you ever have to hide it? Like,
we talked about this. Like, I was trying to keep up with the book club. By the way, right now, what I'm doing, I'm telling the book club story, but I'm also trying to see what other books does old Mel Robbins have, because this is exciting.
The 5-second one, right? That was her first one.
Here we go. Yeah,
Can we get Mel Robbins on the podcast here? God, I know she's busy.
Take Control of Your Life was in 2019. The High Five is a journal. Work It Out. The 5-second rule, and let them. This is great. I'm going to be a new me. Watch out.
Watch out, world. Okay, so we're not going to let them tattoos just because I already have too many tattoos that I shouldn't have gotten. Not that this would be bad, but anyways. But Erin, you and I do need to do a couple things. We're going to give ourselves an off-season to-do list. A trip, another earring. Also, we talked about it on the pregame. Erin and I we don't know where yet. We don't know what we're going to do, but we have to do a vacation together in the off-season. You know what's crazy though? The off-season's already over.
It's over.
I mean, we talk about this. It's
like, March is over.
I was like, we have to sit down and do a schedule because every time I turn around in an email, something's popping up. And I'm like, wait, why is this already, the summer's gone. I don't like that feeling. I don't like that feeling at all. So we have to build in some stuff because if not.
Oh yeah, we're screwed. I'm excited about like events and dates, but I hate getting the email where it's like, hey, it's on this date or it's something's on this date. No, I don't want to do any dates. Like our nanny the other day just said to me, when are you going out of town again? When are you doing this? And I said, I don't know. Because I think it's like with football, you are it's such a routine. There's such a schedule. I've got to leave on Thursday. I've got this feature Friday. I've got the game on Sunday. I like acting like I don't know when anything is. Now, I know I've got stuff coming up. We're going to Tampa together. We're going to do a countdown podcast at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Women's Summit.
Excited for that.
Yep. Hearing rumors about who may stop by, which could be super fun, and a time, by the way. But I like acting like I'm loosey-goosey right now and I don't have a schedule, but summer's over. Off season is over.
Yeah, it's done. It's already done. Yep. Do you, because when I'm here at the ranch, I just spilled half mine. I am it's so, I don't know if you're like this. I like doing things here that I don't like doing at home. Emptying the dishwasher, doing laundry. Like, okay, I was wondering if you had that same thing. Like I wake up here early. Like I'm here like, well, I guess the same kind of time in LA between 6:30, 7's like late. Get up, I feed the animals. I have my own little routine there. I make my coffee. I go for a walk with the dogs up to this one little area that I like. And then I like doing the tasks that I hate doing at home, like all the homemaker stuff. I made cookies the other day. Like I don't make fucking cookies at home. Like what? I know I'm such a like homemaker here. And as I was folding towels this morning, I thought to myself, like, I could totally be a stay-at-home mom. I don't have any kids, but like, I thought to myself, like, I could do that. I probably couldn't because I'd be bored after like 5 seconds, but I don't know. I just have this like maternal thing.
That is?
I don't know. Like I made the bed because Jen was here. So I like, she's like, want me to strip the bed? I was like, oh no, I'll do it. I made the bed all night, all these things. And I'm like, I hate doing, I don't like doing any of that shit when I'm home. I wonder why maybe because we're not in our normal routine. And so it just feels like we have the time to do it. I don't know, but I kind of liked it.
Because you don't look at the ranch as like a place where, you know, we're at home and it's like, I got this closet I got to weed out. It's like all my Fox shit's in there, all my rain gear, all the crap. It's like, that's still, ranch is still kind of your your
vacation. Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah. I don't know, but I just thought to myself, and not like the stay-at-home mom part, but you know what I'm saying? Like where it was like, I liked being a little homemaker and I liked, like, I don't even like cooking. And I said to Steve last night, do you want me to make you dinner? And he was like, are you okay? And I was like,
what were you going to make?
Well, I only make 3 things. I can only make 3 things: taco salads, spaghetti, and then like breakfast for dinner. That's the extent of my cooking. I don't have any, and there's this girl, Erin O'Brien, that I follow on Instagram. She is amazing. She does all of these like quick recipes. I have never made one of her recipes, but I go in a deep dive of watching them. You have?
Yeah, I forgot what it was. I made one of her recipes one time. You told me about her, so I tried. She makes it look so easy with her glass of wine. It's not that easy. Don't these people need measuring cups? What the hell?
No, they don't. And that's the thing where I'm like, I want to be that person. And so maybe I don't know. Should I try? Other than reading, what else should we do? I think we should have a checklist for our quote off season, even though we already say it's over. But before football season starts again, I think it's important. And for anybody else out there, we'd love some advice, like things that we should do. We should finish. Obviously, that's embarrassing if we can't finish one book. So we got to finish this book.
Yeah, we'll finish it.
like cook once a week. Like, let's think about our list. Definitely the vacation. We need to clean out our closets, our purses, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then we need to do something volunteer wise. I don't know. I'm coming up with a lot of ideas, but then I think we'll feel very like accomplished by the time the season rolls around again. And we won't be mad like, oh my God, the whole off season went by and we didn't do anything.
That was a real Mel Robbins thing. I think I sent that to you. Like, do a checklist. Like, if you are starting on Sunday night to have anxiety for the week ahead, like, think of the things you need to get done and write them down. But I have so
You're
many
good
checklists.
with the list, though, sister.
I am, but I am not. I have so many lists.
Another thing that you sent me was Kate Winslet
spoke to me.
Okay, so do you explain what it was? Because
I don't know who did this. I don't know if you were able to put that together, the voices behind it, but there was some interview that somebody did. It looked recently with Kate Winslet, and they went back and looked at, I don't know if it was like a fashion kind of show of her.
She was on a red carpet.
And they must have been promoting Titanic. And they were speaking about how they thought her dress size was a little too small for her body. And they played that in front of her. And the interviewer was asking if she ever confronted the people that said the nasty things about her. And she said she did. And the interviewer asked what she said to them. And she said, I hope this haunts you. And that just spoke to me. And I was like, girl, look at this.
Because, which by the way, let me tell you, working at Fox, they have this archive, like you can see some of the amazing costumes from different movies and shows and all this kind of stuff. Kate Winslet's dress, the famed dress where it was the black with the maroon like underlay and it had the beads. It was like the first one I think that you see that she's in from like the dinner the night that like Leo's there. This dress, the waist size on it is like this big. It is so tiny. So the fact that she was fat shamed at all is fucking insane. Like, and I know it's, so many conversations about unrealistic expectations for women and their bodies and the whole thing. But as it pertained to this, that quote of saying, I hope it haunts them. I think there's a little bit of, again, this reoccurring theme where let them. If they want to say something about you, if they want to fat shame you, or if they want to say you're not this, or they want, let them. That's on them. And I hope it haunts them. I hope they have to live with that thing instead of letting it be a problem for her or having her feel bad about it. Like, no, that's their shit, not mine. Like I like that projection of, not projection, but like pushing off of internalizing it. Like, just no, you get to live with the fact that you're an asshole. Like, that's your problem, not mine. Because we know some where it's like, instead of absorbing that and letting it be something we lose sleep at night over, people that have, and by the way, I'm not a saint, but I definitely know a few people, I hope it haunts them the way they acted. You know what I mean? So that's great. We love Kate Winslet. We love Mel Robbins. To summarize, but yeah.
We're real girls,
Yeah, but all is good. We have a lot to be thankful for. We have a lot of exciting things coming up. We're going to make a list of all the stuff that we wanted to do. We also, do we have headlines?
Well, hold on. How's your reentry going? Can we get an update? Because you were upset about somebody and they're loud talking. How are you guys doing? Where are you with reentry?
Better, because even in taking my own advice of when we posted when our clips came out, when I'm like hearing myself, I don't want to be bitchy. I don't want to be controlling. Steve is so wonderful to me, especially during the during the season and just taking care of shit at home. So reentry is going better because I'm putting it on myself to be more mature about some stuffs. Some stuff's good English. It's like English. I'm trying to be better with English. Stuff. But also, I think it's just being honest about because we're together all the time.
You guys are.
And it's fine because I like him. But like up here, like we're in the middle of nowhere. So it's not like we're even like going into town and like hanging out with, you know, the people. Like, it's just last night I was just like looking, he sent me a text. I was out doing something. He goes, hey, do you want to come back to the house and we just sit on the couch and stare at each other? That's the text I got. I go, sure, I'll be down in 20 minutes. We sat on the couch and it was actually really nice. Steve doesn't like TV, not into watching TV. He doesn't like shows.
I didn't know that.
If this guy would have TVs taken out of his house if it wasn't for sports. That's the only thing he likes to watch. Every time he goes, oh, what are we going to watch? Another Dateline season 42, episode 7. Like, I love Dateline. He goes, oh, murder, kill, kill. All you want to watch is murder. He goes, can we watch a comedy? But yeah, he is not a TV person. I will catch him sitting in a room listening to Art Pepper, this like jazz musician, and just staring at the ceiling. And I'm like, I go, what does that do to you? And he goes, it helps me relax. He goes, TV, I just like get inundated and it gives me anxiety about like killing and murder. And I was like, really? Because killing and murder makes me relax. So because now I don't have to think about all the things I'm supposed to be doing. I just think about how great my life is because it's not that. So I don't know. It's going good. We just have to like balance out. I miss you. I think I need a little air time too.
Well, yeah, I can't get a hold of this chick. She's watching Dateline and feeding the cows. Where is my friend? So busy.
Yeah. It's almost been 2 weeks actually. So yeah, I'm ready to see my girlfriend, but hopefully we get together this weekend. And I miss Mac. I haven't seen Mac. What's Mac been up to? He's so like busy. 15 years old. I see the picture of him and Justin Bieber, which by the way, he looks like Justin Bieber.
Yeah. And somebody actually said that to me before. I forgot who did. I think it was somebody at the Super Bowl. It was like, your kid looks like Justin Bieber. I was like, really? And so,
he's so cute.
He is cute. He was so good at that LA Strong event. We brought him. They were so loosey-goosey about letting him in the locker room. He was hanging out with Dad. Dad was sending me pictures. Oh, I know. Those are the Kopitar's son's Jakob skates. It's so sweet. And Jarrett was like skating with him on the ice and he loves going fast. That was really fun. He's good. He's busy. All right.
Let's
talk about it.
What do we got?
Talk about it. I get it. He's 19 months. This is where I am in my life. We had our baby late. I was around a lot of people that were having babies for many years, and I was sitting back and observing. I went on a lot of family vacations with people that had kids. All my friends from the LA Kings at the time had babies. So I got to observe a lot of stuff. I realized what I really liked and what I didn't like. And what I don't like are kids that have free reign and that aren't well behaved. What I do like is somebody like Greg Olsen, who has children that walk in, look you in the eye, shake your hand, and are very respectable. Now, I've gone to dinner with Greg and I've sat next to both of his kids, and Greg is trying to talk to me and he has said, hey, it's adult time now. I love it. Like, listen, no kid is a saint, no adult is a saint, but I realize what I want out of a kid. I'm also having a big struggle of when you learn to, I'm not saying discipline, but correct behavior.
Yeah. Okay.
We went to sushi the other night. Jared had to work and I love our nanny and she's so great. And I said, hey, can I take you to sushi tonight? And twofold, can Matt come too? And I think it's so important to socialize him. And, you know, I want him to sit down and have a meal with me. Now, are there times he needs an iPad? Sure. But I also really get a kick of the fact she's great to show him you don't need it and show me how to do it.
We never had that. We went to dinner with our parents and we never had that. Yeah. Here's a coloring book and color crayons from the hostess.
Exactly. The one thing I love about our nanny, Barbara, is she is really great in teaching me how to do things. She is like, okay, let's do it this way. Let's try it this way. And so I feel confident and comfortable because I also have a huge insecurity that I haven't been around for 6 months and I want to do it how they've done it so I don't mess up the schedule. Any hoot nanny. My man is not talking yet, but we are saying some things. We are saying yes and da 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 da. Mama. Okay, great. He is so smart. He is very attentive. But we have not figured out how to lower our voice yet. And we
Neither has Steve.
Found our voice.
He's 37.
Well, they are related. Out of nowhere at Izakaya, which is a very small sushi restaurant in our town, one of our favorites. He wasn't pissed. He wasn't happy. He was just in 4 loud shrieks, ah, 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 where the entire restaurant turned and looked at me. His father is not there, and I'm mortified. And I looked at Barbara and I go, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? She goes, it's okay. You're okay. Mac, we do not yell at the restaurant. We're good. It was at the end of the meal, he had such a great meal. We gave him ice cream, but then in the back of my head, I'm like, am I rewarding this behavior? What am I doing? Because Barbara had said to me, he did that at the park. Everybody turned and looked, and she said, we're not doing that. We're going to behave. I went home that night and I texted one of my girlfriends who has kids, and I just said, at what point, I don't even know if I can look at him the same after that. Because everybody looked and I was like, what point am I? I'm like, no, I wanted to grab him, run out. And she's like, he's 19 months. He's not going to understand. That's just where I am right now. I know what I want out of a kid, and I don't know when to start. She said, you have to say like, hey, let's not do this. We're in a place, but he doesn't know what the hell, but he does, but he doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I will step in here only to say this. I don't have children. I did grow up. My mom did daycare for us when we were growing up because she wanted to stay home with us, and it was a way for her to make money. So I was always around kids. I was a nanny. I started watching it a 9-month-old when I was 11 years old, and then stayed with that family until I graduated high school. Shout out to the Leuenbergers. And they had 3 kids, and I would go on vacation with them, and I was the one that would travel, and I was responsible for, when they wanted to go out to dinner, I was with the kids and all that kind of stuff. The only thing I will say about that is like distraction, right? Where it's like, and again, I'm not the professional nanny that you have. So I will only say from my own experience is that same reason for kids on airplanes. I feel for them. They don't know what they're doing. Their ears are popping. It feels weird. They're in a confined space. And it's like, they want to move, especially he's at an age where it's like, he wants to move. He wants to do things. And so it's like
busy.
I don't know about the yelling part, but like, that's just more of like, okay, we don't do that. But like, I always feel for kids when they're like in a situation and they just want constant distraction. Like take the credit cards out of your wallet to give them something to do. Here's a color crayon. Here's oh my God, do you see a bird outside? Like just constantly like give them something else to do so that they're not like, I'm trapped in this high chair or I'm whatever. Again, I'm not speaking to that situation that you have. I'm only thinking about the things that I do with kids. And that's the part too, where it's like you have went 40 to 45 years without having a child. And now I'm so proud of you though. Like no one prepares you for that. Your whole world. But here, I'm going to say this and don't have a interjection.
Okay.
You guys, Erin may sit on here and she's vulnerable about the things that she doesn't know and all that kind of stuff. She is the most amazing mom. You will show me pictures of him sleeping in his crib. We'll look at the little monitor and you'll show me you are such a good mother. And I'm really proud of you. Like no one prepares you for how to do that. But I know that this is like, you imagine you wanted this for so long and now you have this perfect little boy. And so if he screams at the restaurant,
no,
whatever.
It's true. I was actually thinking of this the other day and I said this to Jarrett, and I'm very, very also grateful for our help that we have. And we have such a good team in place and we are so thankful because whatever, but we are so grateful for our group, but because it does take a village. The other day when we got home from Montana, we're back, we're in our routine. Jarrett goes to the office. I was, with him for a bit. Then I went to work out and I was saying to Jarrett, my God, this is how it's supposed to be. We have such a lovely, team working with us. But this is how it is when you aren't working and you're not traveling to Green Bay or you're not worried about getting on a conference call. Like I will say this, and not to toot my own horn, it's fucking hard to do this with a full-time job and traveling, and not even traveling. Like I think of all the football stories we read where guys talk about their mom and how they had 3 to 4 jobs and they didn't see their mom during the day. And then at night, the mom went to work while they went to bed. And
my mom did that.
Exactly. Like that is fucking hard. Like, and I'm not saying I didn't give myself enough credit, but I sat there the last 6 months thinking about what a failure I was because I was like, God, I'm like half-assing it with Fox, even though I wasn't half-assing it with my kid. It is so hard to do all that.
I will say, and I try to remind you of this. My mom worked 3 jobs. My dad was working all the time, like all of this stuff. And there's never a time, ever a time where I look back at my childhood and I was like, oh, I wasn't loved. All I think about was I was loved and my parents were working so hard so I could have that extra. They could make my mom would make $100 at the restaurant, working at a restaurant night. So I could go join the select basketball team or I could get the new basketball shoes. Like you have to give yourself the credit. Like your kid sitting in that high chair, watching you do that post-game interview and pointing at the screen and saying, Mama, like I like cried watching that video and it's not even my kid. It's just the fact that like, he sees you working. Like that is a beautiful thing. And by the way, if you don't work and you stay at home with your kid all day, that's also
a job.
The hardest job. I imagine that's the hardest job, as everybody always says, because it's constant. So I think all of this is about giving yourself grace and knowing like when you got Howie as a puppy, he would dig, he would chew on things, he would whatever. Howie's grown up and he's a great dog. Like Mac's a baby. He's like going to try things but I'm really, really proud of you. And I hope that you're seeing like, instead of focusing on the like, oh, I'm not this or I'm not that. Like, I really hope you give yourself the like, this is a whole different set of, things in life that no one prepares you for. And even if you've been very vocal, you're lucky enough to have help. And it's still really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to.
Well, I love you.
The answers,
when in doubt. So to summarize, Mel Robbins, we would love for you to come on the Calm Down podcast. Us, like your now innumerable amount of fans, appreciate that you had the vulnerability to put this down in writing so you can help all of us be better people and just less stressed out or less, upset about things that don't matter and that we can't control. I'm going to go look for a new recipe to cook and fold some more laundry because this is the things I like to do now. And I love you. And I'm going to see you this weekend. I can't wait
to you. Yeah, let's figure that out. I saw the text.
Yep. Okay. You guys, thank you for listening. Weigh in and buy the book if you haven't already, because we're going to continue to talk about it. Play along. Bye.
Meow. Calm Down with Erin and Carissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.